Today we will discuss about all openings belong to center game. In which openings have center game. So first one is center game, starts from e4, e5, d4. The next one is center game accepted, starts from e4, e5, d4, a cross d4. The next one is Ross Gambit, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, bd3. Next one is Hall variation, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6, qc4. The next one is Burger variation, as usual e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6, qe3, nf6. The next is normal variation, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6. Next Ahmed variation, as usual e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6, qe3, f5. Next is Lamb-Carnold variation, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, nf3, bb5, c3. Next is Von der Lusser Gambit, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, bc4. Next is Charousek variation, as usual e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6, q e3, bb4 check, c3, be7. Next one is Kuprychik variation, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6, qe3, nf6, nc3, bb4, bd2, castle. Again castle, re8, bc4, d6, nh3. Next is Kayasieritsky variation, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, nf3. Next one is Halash-McDonnell Gambit, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, c4. Next is Paulson attack variation, as usual e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, q cross d4, nc6, qe3. Next is Russian game, modern attack, again e4, e5, nf3, nf6, d4, a cross d4, e5, ne4, q cross d4. The next is modern attack, center variation, again e4, e5, nf3, nf6, d4, n cross e4, bd3. The next is Russian game, Cochrane Gambit, again e4, e5, nf3, nf6, n cross e5, d6, n cross f7, k cross f7, d4. The next is Italian game, classical variation, e4, e5, nf3, nc6, bc4, bc5, c3, nf6, d4. Next is Lamb-Carnold Gambit, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, nf3, bc5, c3, d cross c3, bc4. In Halash-McDonnell Gambit, crocodile variation, again e4, e5, d4, a cross d4, f4, bc5, nf3, nc6, c3. The next is Italian game, center hold variation, again e4, e5, nf3, nc6, bc4, bc5, c3, q e7, D4, BB6. Next is Ruy Lopez, closed center attack, again E4, E5, NF3, NC6, BB5, A6, BA4, NF6, castle, BE7, D4. The next is rat defense, small center defense, D4, E6, E4, D6. Next one is Ruy Lopez, Steinitz defense, again E4, E5, NF3, NC6, BB5, D6, D4, A. Cross D4, castle. In Ruy Lopez, Basque gambit, again E4, E5, NF3, NC6, BB5, A6, BA4, NF6, castle, BE7, D4, A cross D4, E5, NE4, C3, D cross C3. In semi-Slav defense, Stolz variation, D4, D5, C4, C6, NF3, NF6, NC3, E6, E3, ND7, QC2, BD6, E4. Next is French defense, Tarrasch. Variation, E4, E6, D4, D5, ND2, NF6, E5, ND7, F4. In Trompovsky attack, classical defense, D4, NF6, BG5, E6, E4. The next is Sicilian defense. Smith-Morra defense declined, E4, C5, D4, C cross D4, C3, E5. Next is semi-Slav defense, Stolz variation, center variation, again D4, D5, C4, C6, N. F3, NF6, NC3, E6, E3, ND7, QC2, BD6, E4, D cross E4, N cross E4, N cross E4, Q cross E4, E5, D cross E5. Next is Vienna game, again E4, E5, N. C3. Last one is Scotch game, again E4, E5, NF3, NC6, D4. Like and subscribe for more video.